Welcome viewers to the opening round of the 2025 EKS season, and you join us here for the opening round of the new National Championships and the pre-existing Southern Championships here at Daytona Sandown Park in Surrey. You join us in this video for the race of the day. This is a new series of videos that will be appearing on our channel throughout this season, where we cover the best race of the day in full, and it is the opening top split race which has been selected as the race of the day for this round. Archie Bullard put it on pole position in the one-shot qualifying. He's a six-time Sandown DMAX champion, and he's starting on the front row alongside a fellow Sandown regular in Charlie Foster. And it's Callum Bendelow who's starting up in P3 alongside his lightweight rival Luka Nik. Jack Redfern is starting in P5 alongside debutant Frederick Burden, with a fellow debutant in William Tidnam starting in P7. He's the highest heavyweight driver in this field, and it's Louis Draper who's then starting in P8 on row 4 alongside William. Thomas Hughes is also making his debut today. He's starting up in P9 alongside Alfie Shrub, and it's Carlos Omanis, our reigning senior champion. He's starting down in 11th position alongside Ross Sandwell. Ryan Sandown won this event last year in the senior class, but he's starting down in P13 for this race. He's starting on row 7 alongside Daniel Varland. And then James King, who's usually seen at Daytona Milton Keynes, he's racing at Daytona Sandown Park for only the second time ever, and he's starting in 15th place on the grid alongside Callum Jenkins. Ashley Mason King is then starting behind his brother in 17th position, with Samuel Bennett then joining him on the 9th row of the grid. And then Andreas Dimitriades, he's making his debut today. He's a Sandown local, starting in 19th position alongside a fellow Sandown local in Mike Bennett. And then Julius Stankowiak makes up the rest of the field, starting in 21st.
Hello viewers, and welcome to the first Split 1 race of the day here, the first Split 1 race of the season here at Daytona Sandown Park, with Archie Bullard on pole position and Charlie Foster alongside him as they get ready for the green flag. Then racing begins here, and Luka Nik gets a little bit jumped at the start there as you see Jack Redfern trying to get alongside him there, but it's Bullard that leads as they go through Vale for the first time. It's still wet and slippery. It's been raining earlier in the day, and Jack Redfern has gone up the inside of Luka Nik for 4th position, and now he's right behind Callum Bendelow then as they go into turn 3, and Foster trying to go up the inside of Archie Bullard, but he's gone onto the wet stuff. They're going side by side for the lead then as they go down towards turn 4. And who is it that's got ahead? It's Archie Bullard that's held onto the lead from pole position then. Treacherous conditions, everybody squabbling for traction, squabbling for grip, Luke, then as they come around to complete the first lap.
Yeah, that was a great opening lap battle there between Archie Bullard and Charlie Foster. They were dicing for positions all through the first half of the lap, kept changing positions, but it's Archie Bullard who settled in the lead of this race, having started on pole position, and there's all manner of carts in the back of shot here going side by side with one another. I can see running aboard with Ashley Mason King that you've got Ryan Sandel alongside James King, and there's another car as well on the outside there. I believe that is Alfie Shrub. But as I come across the start finish line here to end the first lap, it is Archie Bullard who leads by 0.77 seconds ahead of Charlie Foster. And you've got Callum Bendelow who was up in third, but Jack Redfern, he's just got through. As you can see from Callum Bendelow's onboard, it's Jack Redfern now who is through up into P3, and it's Callum Bendelow now in P4 ahead of Luka Nik.
And Louis Draper also having to get defensive from William Tidnam, who's all over the back of him. Tidnam, another driver that's gaining places early in the race. You also, if you look at Carlos Omanis, he's gotten well into the top 10 now from about 9th on the grid then. And he is fighting away with Ross Sandwell behind him. And then Luka Nik, of course, his old sparring partner and current teammate ahead of him. But yes, I certainly think Charlie Foster is not done yet, staying within just a couple of tenths of Archie Bullard then. As you look at Ashley Mason King, you can see Ryan Sandel just ahead of him making a move on his brother James King again through these last couple of corners into turn 8 to come. And it's James King that's got the inside. Ashley Mason King now diving up the inside of Sandel. So great little fight for the just trying to stay inside the top 13 here as they go on the long run through the Vale. And now Luka Nik is having a go because Frederick Burden has gotten through. So Luka Nik is really starting to struggle out there from 4th on the grid, and he's getting absolutely mugged into turn 2. Up the inside goes Will Tidnam.
Yeah, Ross Samuel has managed to sneak his way through as well on Luka Nik on that lap, as now they come out of turn 3. Oh, there's caught in the barriers there. That was a big part of steam, and you can see from the static camera here, which has caught the crash perfectly, that is Frederick Burden, who has gone in 360 there through the puddle on the exit of turn 3, and he is now stuck in the barriers. That's very unlucky there for Frederick Birding. He was running up in P7, making great progress in this race, but unfortunately now he is in the wall, and that is going to mean that he's almost certainly going to finish at the back of the field in this race. But now as we come towards the end of the third lap, it is Archie Bullard. You can see here from the drone shot on the start-finish straight, he's ahead of Charlie Foster. He's put a 1.2 second gap now on Charlie Foster, and it's Jack Redfern who's broken away from the pack behind to form a battle then for the top 3 here. Jack Redfern currently 2.2 seconds off the lead in third.
Yeah, there we go. So luckily Frederick Burton's still in the race, but he's lost an awful lot of time. The car's steaming from all that water that poured on, not just from going offline where it's absolutely treacherous, but also from the tyre barrier with all that standing water still in there then as the racing very much continues. Julia Stankowiak now having a go at Ryan Sandel a bit further down the pack then. Ashley Mason-King with a lovely view of that, not quite able to take advantage though. That is the battle for 13th place, of course. But near the front, Luka Nik now trying to stay in touch with William Tidnam, and you sense Luka Nik really starting to struggle to keep the leaders in sight there as the rear of that car misbehaving through the middle part of the end part of the lap, and yeah, he really is fighting that car every step of the way then. But Archie Bullard's got the gap to Charlie Foster to a whole second now. He's got that little bit of breathing room, but Foster is still within touching distance. We see yellow flags waving still in the middle sector.
Yeah, you can see as well running aboard with Luka Nik. You see Will Tidnam in front pressuring his fellow heavyweight driver in Ross Samuel. These two are the leading heavyweight drivers in this race, currently running in 6th and 7th place. And then you've got Callum Bendelow and Carlos Hermanis in front. They're battling for the lead in the lightweight class. So remember, oh, what's that there? That's Luka Nik. He's got a problem with his car. He's trying to restart his engine. Looks like he's got an electrical problem, having just gone through the big puddle on the exit of turn 3. It claimed Frederick Burton a couple of laps ago, and now it's claimed Luka Nik as he grinds to well, and there is nothing there. No electronics. He is dead on the middle of the track. So that is hugely unlucky there for Luka Nik. He was running in 8th position, but his car now has ground to a halt in the middle of the circuit. There'll be yellow flags, of course, in the corners building up to this, and in fact it may well be a full course yellow here because there are marshals on the circuit. So we'll have to see how this one unfolds, but very unlucky there for Luka Nik. Now what you've got to remember in the EKS is if you break down and it's not clearly your fault, i.e. you didn't crash the carts, then you will get put back into position. So it will be interesting to see whether the race director deems this to be Luka's fault or not, or whether he'll get put back into position. But now you can see from the drone shot, you've got the leaders coming back around. You can see the yellow flags flying, covering turn number 5, and yeah, Luka Nik looks like he is not going anywhere.
Yeah, and oh, you can see a little bit of frustration there for Carlos Hermanis on board because he's right behind Callum Bendelow trying to get into 4th position. Of course, this will neutralise the race, and so frustrating for Luka Nik, even if he gets those positions back. And there is a precedent for this because this happened, remember, to Charlie Foster, didn't it? When his kart shut down the very last lap while running in 3rd in the first Split 1 race on the alternate layout here last year. He did actually get that 3rd place reinstated by the end, so it was heartbreak at the time, but of course he's still got to experience of that podium in that race then. But yeah, everybody now is going to be waiting very patiently for the race to restart, and for Archie Bullard, this is testing times for him as he lifts his hand to acknowledge the yellow flag. But now Charlie Foster and Jack Redfern have closed right up to the back of him now, and that second lead that he had has been eradicated, Luke, and he is going to be on a lot of pressure when we get going again, as Luka Nik still stationary, still discussing with the marshals, desperately trying to get the cart back into the race. But it looks like the water, as you say, has done a lot of damage there.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual in the way that the cart's broken down. Normally these carts are pretty good at going through puddles, but it looks like there may be a bit of an exposed wire or some sort of electrical problem with his cart, so that is why he's ground to a halt. As you can see now, he's actually getting pushed back out of harm's way, and I think he may actually get given a new cart to. But we are now actually under a full course yellow, so as you can see now, riding on board with everyone, there are yellow flags covering the whole circuit, so the race has been neutralised. It's so that Luka Nik can be safely recovered. In fact, yes, Luka Nik is now, as you can see, on board with him he's actually out of his car, and I think he may run over to the pit lane here to get a new cut. And yes, it has actually been decided by the race director that Luka Nik will get put back into positions here. So as he runs back through the pit lane, you can see the extended pit lane here at Sandown Park, he'll get given a new car and he'll get reinstated back into the position he was in. So that was 8th position. He'll get put back into that position as soon as possible, and yeah, he'll be able to resume his race as was the case before he broke down. But as you can see now, it is Charlie Foster who's caught right up to the back of Archie Bullard here. This is before we went full course yellow that he caught up. It was under the non-yellow sections of the track. It's Jack Redfern now still in P3. He's caught right up to the back of the pack, and it's Callum Bendelow who's got an absolutely enormous train of cars behind him now, as he's currently running in 4th place, 1st place in the lightweight class, and it's Carlos Manison behind him 5th. William Tidman, he's got through on Ross Samwell, he's up into P6, and it's Ross Samwell now in 7th place ahead of Alfie Sharp, Louis Draper and Thomas Hughes, who rounds out the top 10.
Yep, so there we go. Looks like Luka Nik is out of the pits then in his new car, as we see our 3 leaders then still bunched together, and Bendelow, as you say, big threat from Almanis, and especially Tidnam, who has been slowly picking off the order in front of him one by one then. But it's a huge train of cars then. So then we're back to green, and Archie Bullard makes a good getaway then at the restart as they cross the start finish line. 3 minutes left on the clock, but Jack Redfern sticking with Charlie Foster and Archie Bullard ahead of him. And yeah, Charlie Foster is going to be looking at the lines that Archie Bullard is taking, because of course it's still very damp out there, but Archie Bullard has a lot of confidence. He gives Carlos Almanis going around the outside then of Bendelow. 4-4 position at turn 2 there, and that was a spectacular move from Carlos there, the reigning senior heavyweight champion there. And Callum Bendelow was a little bit caught unawares there, as they're still going side by side a little further back in the pack then. Whoa, more water being splashed up there.
Yeah, everyone's hitting that puddle coming out of turn 3. Yeah, that was a great move, like you say, by Carlos Almanis, our reigning senior champion, and now he's into the lead within the senior lightweight class. And Callum Bendellow's got another car coming past him. It's William Tidnam who's up his inside as they head into turn 6.
Foster
Great move.
Lead.
And Charlie Foster, like you say, Charlie Foster, he is through into the lead of this race. So he caught up Archie Bullard in that yellow flag period of the race, and Archie Bullard now, he's back up the inside of Charlie Foster. They head into turn 1. Great move that is by Archie Bullard, getting straight back into the lead of the race. Can Charlie Foster get the cut back in? No, he cannot. So Archie Bullard back into the lead of the race, having lost it for all of one corner.
Yeah, Archie Bullard is doing this Scandinavian flick into turn 7, essentially, right in front of where I'm commentating, actually, and that's giving him a lot of traction, but it's also leaving a big gap on the inside for Charlie Foster to threaten him. And you see Archie Bullard getting very, very defensive on the drone shot. Jack Redfern is absolutely loving this, because he's seeing the two duel in front of him. Wide goes Bullard at turn 6, and now it's Foster on the inside then. Towards turn 7 they come. Oh, aggressive defending from Archie Bullard. They take side by side. Oh, Bullard is spun. Bullard is spun around, and Redfern goes for up to second as well. So Charlie Foster then well and truly takes the lead with 90 seconds left on the clock. That's going to be controversial between those two then, as they're still dueling away in the battle for 4th as well.
Yeah, that's very controversial there. I think, to be honest, in my opinion, Archie Bullard, he squeezed Charlie then as they were going down the back straight into turn number 6, and I think there's not much you can do with Charlie Foster. There wasn't much he could do about it. He just got squeezed then all the way to the apex of turn 6, and then, well, actually Archie ended up spinning. It wasn't after being hit. He spun by himself.
William Tidnam and Carlos Almanis side by side there. Sorry, Luke, but yeah, that was William Tidnam going all the way around the outside of Carlos at the Vale in these slippery, treacherous conditions. And yeah, Carlos certainly wasn't expecting that to happen to him there, as we see our leaders with 40 seconds left on the clock. Charlie Foster is looking very, very good to take what would be the first win of the season. There's somebody going very, very wide, just letting the rest of the pack through in the middle. I think that may be Daniel Varlin, or potentially being lapped there at the very, very rear of the field, possibly Frederick Bird, and then it's Luka Nik, after rejoining then. So yeah, Ashley Mason-Kick still fighting away with his brother to try and get into the top 12, top 13 here. But look at Archie Bullard, he's not giving up on trying to retake second position then. Jack Redfern, how defensive can he get into turn 2? It's not defensive enough. Bullard steams up the inside, plenty of room left for him there, and Bullard, damage limitation there, he's back up to second position then, as we are on the final lap of the race now, and surely there's not going to be enough time for him to beat Charlie Foster here, because Foster, with that brilliant attacking drive after the full course yellow, has been able to snatch the lead. And look at Archie Bullard still trying to drift the car at every corner imaginable to try and catch back up, but it's going to be a little bit too late here then, as Foster just 2 more corners to go. He has been absolutely exemplary in this first race, patiently bided his time, and the moment will be his through the final corner now. It's victory as he comes across the line for Charlie Foster in the first split one encounter of the season. Archie Bullard takes second with Jack Redfern in third. It's going to be William Tidnam beating Carlos Elmanis to fourth. And look, just in the background, I think, is that Alfie Shrub drinking a late charge at Callum Bendelow for 6th. And across the line, it's going to be Alfie Shrub that takes 6th position there. Fantastic race, fantastic finish. And yeah, it's Charlie Foster on top.
Charlie Foster ended up taking a superb victory then in that race, winning the opening top split race of the season. He beat Archie Bullard by just under a second, and it's Jack Redfern who ended up coming home in P3 in what was a dominant top 3. William Tidnam ended up winning within the senior classes. He ended up coming home in P4 as the top heavyweight driver, ahead of Carlos Elmanis, who was the top lightweight driver in that race. And it's Alfie Shrub who finished all the way up in P6. Callum Bendelow then came home in P7 ahead of Ross Samuel, with then Ryan Sandel recovering to 9th place, having started down in 13th place on the grid. Luka Nik ended up slotting into P10 at the finish then, having been put back into position, and it's Louis Draper who finished up in P11 ahead of Thomas Hughes. Thomas was the only driver to receive a penalty in that race. He got a 1-point deduction for a bumping warning. James King ended up beating his brother Ashley Mason King, as those two came home in 13th and 14th position, and it's Andreas Dimitriades who finished up in 15th position ahead of Samuel Bennett. Daniel Varlin then came home just behind in 17th place, and Frederick Burden recovered all the way back up to 18th place to finish only 20 seconds off the win, having been stuck in the barriers earlier on in the race. Callum Jenkins then came home in 19th position ahead of Julius Stankowiak, and it's Mike Bennett who rounds up the field in 21st position. We can now head down to the pit lane, where our 2023 heavyweight champion Matthew Boulton is with Charlie Foster and William Tidnam.
Charlie Foster, that race was quite stressful. How does it feel to be a winner in the first round of EKS?
Well, it was very good. The start of the race, I should say, me and Archie were even on pace, and then he tried trying to take better lines, which were like not drying up, but they were. And half through the race, I was like 5 cars back. There was a gap, just went for it. It was clean. Then I had to give him some room, racing. We had some good battle, and then another opportunity is I sent him. He had a better run, but then it was 50%, so I still had my nose in. Yeah, I won, so it was a very good race of Archie Bullard, and should be good.
And we're here with Will Tidnam. I must say that while everyone was focused on the top 3, how was your race?
Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of a struggled on the first lap. I was getting loaded into the front corner, so we definitely made an improvement over the last 12 minutes. But yeah, a few incidents around the track as well, so it was a good chance for me to catch up and regain the positions that I lost on the first lap. I'm also very muddy, which...
Trip to the barriers? Trip to the mud? Not quite.
Puddles.
Puddles, I mean, they're just as dangerous.
Yeah.
And you think they're not, but they are. They come at you, don't they?
Yeah.
They have a mind of their... They jump, yeah, like they actually do move at you. Well, hopefully this can dry off, and then we wish you the very best of luck for the other races. Same results. That's what we want to see, and get on the actual podium as well. Even though those juniors are just stupidly quick. I don't know how they do it. They're just weird. Anyway, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yes.